Anytime. All right, that's the first line. Anytime. Anytime now, people. What is up, guys? Chase Oliver here, bringing you another video to my channel. If you guys watch my Q&As on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, whenever I upload those things, you guys know I get asked a lot of questions about movies, and especially the superhero movies. We get full-on discussions about those. So I decided, you know what? Let's just go and do a live review about the latest Captain America Civil War movie, but I'm not alone with this one. Introduce yourself, my special guest.
Hello, everybody. My name is Connor, aka Oh, that movie was so damn good. Kayfabe.
I try to do an Okayfabe poem in the description box of the video. I said, "Oh, my Marvel Kayfabe."
Oh, my Marvel. Oh, my Marvel. My Marvel. My captain. My captain.
Oh, I should have done my captain. That would have been better. So yes, this is the live review of Captain America Civil War. You know, Avengers 3, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be reviewing this movie. Now, the first portion of this review, I'm letting you all know now. This first portion is going to be non-spoiler. So we ain't going to talk about anything spoiler. So if you're coming into this and you're like, hey, why are you guys just acting like, you know, nothing happened in the movie? We will get to spoilers a little bit later on. We just wanted for the people who come in on the playback to know that, hey, you know, these guys ain't spoiling anything for me. They're just going to tell me about the movie. So let's just get started with the basic plot of the movie for non-spoiler sake. This is the basic plot of the movie. The Avengers, they're pretty much causing problems. And then later on, like in the beginning sequence, bam, shit happens. Superhero Registration Act needs to be happen. And then later on, we get Iron Man on one side, Captain America on the other side. And that's the basic plot of this movie. Captain America is here to try to help his friend Bucky, who everyone thinks, aka the Winter Soldier, who everyone thinks did the disastrous act, and then bam, that's the basic movie. That's the basis of this movie. That's the basic plot. But Connor, overall, what were your thoughts on this movie?
So yeah, we're not really spoiling anything that hasn't already been kind of set up from the like 2 or 3 trailers that have already been released as far as this movie goes. So I mean, I was telling this to Chase right before we hopped on. I had high expectations because the Civil War comic is one of my favorites as far as overall storytelling. And you know, it's a Marvel cinematic movie, so you know that there's going to be some basis of the actual comic, and also a little bit of a spin, of a twist, or a variation, I guess you could say, in regards to the movie itself. So I went in there with high expectations because, again, this is one of the more popular Marvel comic book adaptations. And you know, Winter Soldier, and I think you and I were talking about this on other videos, Winter Soldier was one of, if not my favorite Marvel movie, not just Captain America, my favorite Marvel movie they've done so far. And that's pretty, I even say it outdoes Avengers in some regards. But so I went in with Civil War with somewhat high expectations, and it blew it away. I was overwhelmingly shocked. And it's funny, a lot of people call this Avengers 2.5, which I kind of can see that with all the, I mean, it's not just the action, it's not just the characters, it's not just it's a mixture of, they did a beautiful balance of everything. They made it a larger scale issue, they made it a personal scale issue. So even though this is a Captain America movie, which you forget about a lot of the times, most of the times you do forget this is a Captain America movie, they do a fantastic job of making it kind of a personal story, wider, broader spectrum. But then at the very end, they fishtail it and bring it right back into that personal story. It was so well done. I cannot stop kissing this movie's ass enough.
The thing is, though, one disagreement I have with you, when you say I forget that this sometimes is a Captain America movie, I disagree with that point, because I really did feel like my biggest fear heading into Civil War was anytime you see a superhero movie cram in a bunch of shit, you know that you're just
Superman,
Spider-Man 3. Amazing Spider-Man 2, Batman v Superman. Oh no, this ain't gonna turn out well. But what I liked about it the most, they focused. It was a Captain America movie. Like, yeah, Iron Man was there. Yeah, Spider-Man made an appearance. Yeah, this Black Panther made an appearance. Yeah, this was going on. But for the most part, the main centric focus was about Captain America and his friendship with the Winter Soldier and Bucky. And that's what I liked about the most, was that they made it where it was just not like, oh, I just want to see Iron Man on screen. Why do they keep showing Captain America? No, they gave me a reason to care why Captain America was on screen. Like, I was interested in the Captain America scenes, unlike in the Avenger movies where you're just like, I'll just have Iron Man quick with all these other people. That's all I want to see this for. They did a great job in making it just like, they don't take away too much from the Captain America and Winter Soldier story continuing off the last movie. That's why, I do agree with all your other points. The only point I just disagree on is that it's not just a Captain America, that you kind of forget it's a Captain America movie. I still think it's a Captain America movie, and it does a great job with as well as shoehorning in all these other superheroes and debuts and stuff like that.
I guess that's maybe the reason I keep thinking, and it's I'm not saying there's like a majority part of the movie where you forget it's Captain America. I mean, for me, it's probably, and this is no secret, it's the giant fight scene. It's the scene you see in the trailer when they're all. That's the only part where I kind of like blank out and just like, this is amazing. This is incredible. The Spider-Man one, and I'm sure we'll get into this later on in more detail. That was another worry of mine, was that, like you said, it seems like a lot of superhero movies have done this thing where they attempt to cram in so much into one movie, particularly like the old Spider-Man trilogies, the Batman Superman that's the biggest argument from the Batman Superman movie that just came out this past March. But this particular one, they did, I think, a beautiful job of balancing out. We had an establishment from Avengers Age of Ultron for most of the characters. We did introduce Black Panther and Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I thought, without getting into too many spoilers, Black Panther is a legitimate certified badass. Yeah. And I cannot wait for the Black Panther movie now, more so than ever. The way the story was written, directed, told, I thought was a beautiful balance of everything, which is it's kind of funny how like DC is like firing back with Batman Superman, and it was just, there was so many complaints, and then Marvel's just like, yep, and then they just do this and they just drop the mic and walk out.
Yeah, exactly. Because the problem with Batman v Superman was this: it was like a Batman origin story movie with a Superman sequel, and then they'd on a Wonder Woman introduction movie, and then something else, and then trying to show you the future of what the DC universe is going into. Because Marvel has done this too, where they've gone into the future with Tony Stark seeing visions of the future caused by Ultron and stuff like that. They did the same thing with Batman v Superman. And I'm sorry if you guys haven't seen Batman v Superman yet. It's old. It's been out since March. If you haven't seen it, it's your fault. Okay?
Yep.
So just saying right there, when it comes down to Batman v Superman, it was like, instead of making it what it should have been, a Superman sequel where Batman gets tied into it, it was like they were focusing more on a Batman origin story where it's like, motherfuckers, we already know what Batman has done in the past. We know his story. Focus on Superman. The way Man of Steel was ended, it was just like, oh, this is perfect. People don't like Superman. This is great. How can Superman win these people back? It's awesome. It's nice. Instead of continue off that, they're like, nope, LOL, Superman barely gets any screen time. Captain America and Winter Soldier get a lot of screen time. I know a lot of people are going to probably be like, are those scenes boring? Or are there any slow points in this movie? The one thing, yeah, there's none. There's really no slow points in this movie. No, anytime you feel like there is a slow point, it's just like they pick it right back up with action.
It's a blip. It's a very small blip. The pacing of this was another big thing. It's a 2.5-hour movie, in case you guys didn't know, which I didn't realize until I got out. I'm like, oh, damn, that was wow. Why did it have to end? No, but they did. A lot of people were saying that Civil War was going to be another major setup for the phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you notice, there are key movies now. It's not just, there are sequels to the other ones, but there are key movies now that help with the, establishment of what the next, big part is going to be. And they said that this one was going to be another one of those, and understandably so, considering what the hell we just saw. So, but we'll get into that part when we get to the spoiler section.
Yeah,
but
because the spoiler section is really the best part of talking about this film. There was another point that I wanted to throw out there, but I think it leads more to like spoiler territory than actual like talking about the movie. But overall, Connor, for the non-spoiler listeners out there, What would you give this movie? Like, what would you think? What did you think about this movie? Did you read reviews? Like, because I read reviews before I go to movies just to see if I agree with the reviewer or not. But did you read reviews? What are your just overall general thoughts from the movie?
I mean, what I've been doing more so lately is, to be completely honest with you, there are very few movies nowadays I actually go to actually see in the theaters now. It has to be something that really like intrigues me, and Deadpool was actually the last one I saw, and then Star Wars, of course, because, you know, I'm a loyal slave like that. But I don't really read the reviews before I go see a movie, especially if it's so close to opening day. What I'll do is I'll go check out Rotten Tomatoes. And I'll check out what their reviews of it was. And so far, and I'm not saying that I'm a diehard loyalist to Rotten Tomatoes, I'll still go see the movie, you know, even if I'm dead set on seeing a movie, I'll check out Rotten Tomatoes. It's just kind of like, just out of curiosity. And I'll still go see it no matter what they review. But I mean, so far, Rotten Tomatoes has not steered me wrong as far as their rating or ranking. They gave this a very high rating. In fact, while I'm rambling on incoherently, I'm going to check out what they gave Civil War. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. They're really, like I said, I had a lot of high expectations for this, but they did a really, really good job. And the other thing of it too was, you have to understand, as far as the best of my knowledge, this is the last Captain America movie.
Yeah.
And it's funny how out of all the Avengers, before Marvel went for this mega push, before the Avengers, you had Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Hulk, who had their own individual established, like, you know, intellectual property. They had their own movies. And it seemed like Captain America was the weakest one of them all, but yet Captain America
1 was the weakest. Like, Incredible Hulk was fine. Thor was really good. Iron Man was one of the best, but Captain America was like, ugh.
Right, but it's funny how in this next round, both Captain America 2 and 3 have just knocked it out of the goddamn park.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's good. Keep it up, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Keep it up.
Yeah, so for me, this was a great movie. Definitely go check it out. It's definitely a movie I suggest you have to go see in theaters and definitely buy on Blu-ray when it comes out. That's how I just basically base my ratings on if you should pay your money to go see it. That's how I base my ratings. If I say you have to go see it in theaters, that means it's that type of movie. Yeah, you may want to go see it twice. I mean, it's really all that good. Draven G in the comments said, I have a few issues with this movie, but I'm going to give it a solid B. B is a good rating. It's not a bad rating. So
I mean, there's gonna be like fallacies in every movie. No, there's no movie that's perfect. I mean, there's things I could nitpick about it, I'm sure, but in the grand scope of things, you know, it's kind of like, you know, without getting too much into this, I like Star Wars: The Force Awakens because, you know, J.J. Abrams, I think, you know, that how much pressure the poor guy must have been in there. Hey, you know what? We're going to give you the keys to direct a movie that's been, you know, etched in time, and that it doesn't, you know, and it has a loyal cult following. So if you fuck this up, you might as well just, you know, there's a suicide booth right over there. Like that must have been an unbelievable amount of pressure. And to his credit, I think Abrams did a very, very good job, all things considered. I'm not saying it was the best Star Wars by any means. It's not my favorite still, but I think
like Jurassic World for me. Jurassic World was the movie last year that I really liked and stuff like that. Not a lot of people liked it, but I really liked it. I thought it was great. Right. I fucking loved the Dominus Rex fucking shit up. It was awesome. But it was like fucking shit up, dude. You made you think these dinosaurs were related us to as humans because the poor little dinosaurs were getting beaten up on, and that one scene where the little what are those Triceratops? He was getting lifted in the air. I felt so bad for it. I was like, oh man, that poor Triceratops. Love Jurassic World.
But I mean, you know, there's no movie that's perfect out there. So I mean, there's fallacies, and probably some of it is the source material, because again, the Civil War comic itself was just so good, and you know, again, try not to get too much into spoilers, but there were certain things they didn't do, which I could see people getting a little upset at. But I mean, honestly, I kind of went in there with an open mind of, okay, we're going to at least get the premise of what the comic was to some extent. We saw that in the trailers. There's a divide between the Avengers and everything's hitting the fan. So I just went in there with that mentality of, we're going to see some kick-ass fight scenes, which again, we'll get to. Oh my God.
Yes.
And then some. And I was actually more intrigued about the character interactions because again, we brought in, we brought in Black Panther and Spider-Man, which Spider-Man I was more curious about as far as what they were going to do specifically with him. And this is the first time we've seen Ant-Man engage with the Avengers, which I thought was Paul Rudd was I loved him in that role as Ant-Man as far as his interaction with Cap and everything. But that was we'll get more into detail about that. But it was interesting seeing those characters in that dynamic as well too. So bigger overall picture. I thought it was great.
All right, and you guys also leave in the comment section what you guys thought. Shout out to AWTV, Anthony Ward TV, also here in the comment section. Make sure you guys share us on Twitter, Facebook, and all those other social media ventures. Anyways, enough. Me and Connor both say the movie's great. For all you non-spoiler people, go see it. You're going to enjoy yourself. I will say this, though. My friend James, he said this to me. He said, I don't know what it was about the Avengers. Captain America Civil War was the closest thing I got to the Avengers. When I watched the Avengers for the first time in movie theaters, I had one of the best thrills ever in my life. But when it came to Captain America Civil War, I almost got that. I still think Civil War is a better movie than the Avengers, in my personal opinion. But I do agree with him on that aspect when he said that to me. That Captain America, the first Avengers movie, when you first saw that in theaters, you couldn't believe this shit was happening.
Well, it's what we've never had a major superhero team up of that scale ever done in a movie before. Ever done. That's why DC's trying to get the bum rush to get the Justice League going. And again, and I'm saying this both as a moviegoer and as a Marvel fanatic. I'm sorry, I'm more of a Marvel fan than I am DC. They just did a great job of building to that moment, establishing each character first, and then getting into that crescendo. Because when you saw that scene where they're all in the circle and they're all backs to each other, which again, whatever, it's that cliche, but it was just cool. It's wow, we're getting to see all these main staple heroes all together at once. You can't beat that. That's never happened before previously, as far as on a grander scale like that. So it's really, really cool. But Civil War, and I'm going to praise this up and down the thing. The fight scene they did on the hangar or whatever it was, the area.
That's one of the best.
That was just. It wasn't just the cool factor of seeing all of them fight at the same time, but it was more seeing how they could counter each other. And I'll get more into detail once we officially go into spoil territory. I'm trying to be good.
So now we're into spoiler territory, Connor. So we can go into more spoilers. And the first spoiler that we're going to be talking about is the main villain in Civil War. Now, I know everyone's going to be like, well, they're fighting each other. So who's the villain? Well, there's actually a villain to this. Actually is a villain. He plays a pretty significant role in the movie. I feel like you have to watch this movie a second time just to see what his role is. I was able to catch the first time, but there's this villain. His name is Zemo. Pretty much the first scene you see in this movie before anything else is a Winter Soldier pretty much being programmed. They say a bunch of words to him that programs his brain to be their soldier, and they pretty much send him on a task to kill some people. Now we're going to say who those people are a little bit later when we talk about this villain, but pretty much Zemo, he's just this guy that he's trying to plot something. He's trying to plan something. He's trying to figure out a little bit more about the Winter Soldier's past. What is it about this Winter Soldier's past? Well, he finds out that Winter Soldier wasn't the only super soldier made, that there was a bunch of other super soldiers made. And so he is trying to set up a war where he destroys this superhero empire. And so throughout this movie, he's kind of setting up these major catalysts. There's this one scene where pretty much the Winter Soldier, he's captured in captivity and everything like that. And he's able to sneak in as the therapist and blow out the radiation, blow out the electricity of this high secret tech base. And then boom, lights go out. He says the code to Winter Soldier, brainwashes Winter Soldier. This allows Winter Soldier to remember everything, especially about the super soldiers. So he's able to tell Captain America and Falcon this, and that leads to them fighting even more because Captain America and Falcon, they're saying, shit, we can't trust Tony. We can't trust Tony right now. He's on this he's with Agent Ross right now saying, oh, we got to stop. We got to stop this whole superhero madness. So we have to go rogue on this one. And so they went rogue. And then we find out that the super soldiers are all dead. They're all dead. And that Zemo brought them there so Iron Man could see the clip of Winter Soldier that we saw in the beginning killing someone. And who does he kill? He kills Iron Man's parents, which Captain America already knew this. Captain America knew who Iron Man's parents died to. He just never told Tony because he felt like if he told Tony, it would crush him. And also because Steve, Captain America, is still trying to save his friend Bucky. Because Bucky and Captain, they go way back. They're best friends. And so pretty much he doesn't want his best, and he knows his best friend is being controlled. And he doesn't want his best friend to fall on the sword, if you will. So pretty much that leads to the epic final battle. And then we find out because Black Panther, he's on this, we'll get into more about him later, but pretty much he wants revenge. And we find out from Zima, if you guys know, he's on his phone the whole time listening to messages. They're old messages that he kept of his wife. And he talked about how, you know, when he was driving one day, you know, the kids saw Iron Man and everything like that. And he said, oh, we're going to be fine. We're not going to be part of the blast. His family dies because of one of the Avengers battles. And he figured the only way to stop these superheroes was for them to kill each other. That was his plan the whole time. And I thought it was a genius plan. I'm like, this motherfucker's smart. You know, he's not the most charismatic villain. He's not going to make you laugh, but he's smart.
Baron Zemo, or Zima, excuse me. No, Zemo, excuse me. It's Zemo.
Zemo, yeah, I was mispronouncing his name.
Is in the comics, he is one of the most brilliant scientists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and more specifically, the more brilliant one of the, I think he's like the second or third in command in Hydra, which I don't recall if they specifically I can't remember off the top of my head because there's so much crap to take in from the movie. If they officially linked him into Hydra, but of course Hydra is just like, you know, STDs. You think they're gone, but they're just keep on coming back, which is intriguing because, you know, it's funny how like either Hydra or remnants of Hydra is the main villain in every Captain America movie. And it's not stale. I was a little weary about Winter Soldiers, the second Captain America movie, as far as the Hydra influence in that one. But I actually stuck with it, and I thought it was pretty decent. But yeah, it was just man, such a good plot twist. I'm like, geez. So you know, and then there was you know, of course, the setup where they thought that Bucky had did the attack as well too, which made, you know, which made Iron Man even more hot about that. It was just such an emotional roller coaster, and that was the big thing too about the whole thing, was that they were really playing off. You know, it was all about Captain and Tony Stark and Steve Rogers being at opposite ends about Bucky, but then it got into further depth when they realized that like Tony felt really guilty about Ultron. He felt guilty about Ultron. He felt guilty about what happened at Age of Ultron because he felt like he created it and it got out of hand. That's why he was so in favor of kind of working with the government, having like a govern put on them, which
Tony's character, we find out in this movie, he's pretty much having a rough go of things. I don't know if there's going to be an Iron Man 4. I don't think there's plans of it, but things are not going well in the Starkland. I mean, Pepper, you know, they didn't want to write. Who's the actress that plays her? I always forget the actress name. She's really good, but I always forget her. They couldn't get her for the movie, obviously, but so pretty much Tony and Pepper are having their differences. You know, after Tony gives all these kids this money to be able to do their projects or everything like that, you know, he walks back, and then later on this woman comes up to him and says like, hey, my son died because of what happened recently. Tony, you know, obviously he wasn't there when Scarlet Witch was trying to stop Crossbone from blowing himself up. You know, he was doing this conference. So Tony Stark is just like, God dang, what, like, damn, this sucks. Like, we can just tell that Tony, his character is just very emotional right now. He's feeling really bad about, you know, with the whole Ultron situation, feeling like that everything he tries to do sometimes just messes up. Like, he can't get anything right. When Tony, before, he was always that guy that used to get everything right before he was Iron Man. Before he was Iron Man, Tony Stark, he felt he can do no wrong. It wasn't until he became Iron Man, he started to realize, shit, man, like, everything I'm doing is pretty much not always the right decision, you know?
Which is weird because it's kind of a 180, and the really intriguing thing that I liked about it too was not only was it a 180 of what Tony was at the beginning of Iron Man, in my opinion, but also that it was very different, and it was very you know, it was guilt-ridden Tony Stark and trying to fix things and make things right, because in, you know, back in the day you wouldn't think he'd want that. And it was very again, it was very interesting to see how like it was, very core dynamic between the two. There's that conference where they were both sitting across each other. Sometimes I just want to punch you in your perfect teeth, and it just and the funny thing was, they hinted at this, and someone made a very good point on a review that I read about it, where there was always plans for Civil War, because I don't know if you remember when they announced Phase 3 of the Marvel movies, they announced originally as a swerve that it was going to be Captain America and this what was it, like the sinister serpent or something like that, or the Serpent Society, and they're like, we need to do something different, and they announced Civil War. And if you remember from the very first Avengers movie, that scene where Iron Man and Captain America were standing toe to toe, the idea was they were planting the seed to see if how it would go, and lo and behold, they ended up going with Civil War. But it was just there were so many. It's funny how like this war that I should say war, but yeah, this war between Captain America and Iron Man started out on one topic, blew up, and then came right down to the personal matter of it all. It was just like,
yeah. I love when General Ross said to Captain America, because he does bring a good point. He's like, "Oh, do you know where the Hulk and Thor are at? That's like me losing 20 tons of nuclear bombs. I'll get fired for that shit." And that's true. Like, you're letting a guy like the Hulk go free. Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner, who can explode at any fucking minute. You're letting freaking Thor, the god of freaking thunder, the god of Asgard, just run around doing whatever the fuck he wants. Like, you can't be letting that happen. And I can understand General Ross and why Tony is in agreement, because Tony doesn't want another situation like Ultron to unfold. He doesn't want Ultron to happen again, because the reason why he made Ultron was to protect the world, to make sure that if anything that the superheroes did started to become bad, he can protect the world, especially with the whole alien thing and everything like that. But that was pretty much Tony Stark. Let's get into Spider-Man now, Connor. Yes. Selfishly, because for me, I'm a big Spider-Man. Tom Holland, the kid who played Spider-Man, was absolutely amazing. Perfect choice.
Good choice of words.
I loved it. I loved him as Spider-Man. He was great, quirky. He was a kid. He wasn't like, Toby. Toby's like my favorite serious Spider-Man. Fuck Andrew Garfield. Fuck Eduardo from The Social Network. Didn't like him as Spider-Man whatsoever. But this kid did great. He's an actual kid. He's not some freaking 29-year-old guy trying to pretend he's in high school and everything like that. He's an actual kid, which I can get behind. He was great. Talking throughout the fights. Like, that was one thing people were talking about. Like, man, Spider-Man was talking way too much during the fights. I'm like, that's what he does.
Yeah.
You guys don't understand. This is Spider-Man. This is what I want to see. I don't want to see boring Spider-Man.
I will say Andrew Garfield's version was, I think, more accurate than Tobey Maguire's. But I think Tom Holland just on the button, like, whoa, you have a metal arm? Yeah, you're not. This is your first fight, huh? Usually not supposed to talk with it. Yeah, well, I'm doing pretty good for a first timer. I loved the Spider-Man Captain America fight. Loved it. So amazing. It was just really, even though it was kind of somewhat short-lived, just seeing, again, like I was mentioning on the fight scene, just seeing the interaction of how they each countered each other with different variations of their weapons and their powers. So good.
Yeah, and the best line where he's all like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Queens." "Brooklyn." And then later on, they just walked away from each other. Like,
while Spider-Man's holding a plane.
Just his choreography was really good too. Just the way he was choreographed and everything like that. That's what Spider-Man should be fighting like. And like I said, Tom Holland did a good job. The last teaser trailer, so there's 2 teaser trailers. We'll get to the other one more when we get to Black Panther, when we talk about him. But the last teaser trailer is a Spider-Man trailer. And so pretty much it shows Spider-Man. This is after all the end credits. So once you see who was part of catering and the taxi clubs and who was driving cars for these people, we see that Spider-Man, he's getting iced up from the battle after the battle at the hangar from his hot Aunt May. Oh, Aunt May's so fucking hot. I'm down for this. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, but Aunt May's supposed to be old. Okay, Aunt May is not that old. Aunt May is a young person, okay? So I'm glad they went with hot Aunt May. I can get behind this. I'm fine with it. But
fair, I think a lot of people can get behind it if you know what I mean.
Exactly. So hot Aunt May is freaking icing him up and stuff like that. And then he finds out that Tony gave him an advanced web shooter. So pretty much like he has an advanced web shooter. He can do different things with his webs and everything like that. So that was pretty much the ending teaser. And it says Spider-Man will be back. So it's confirmed that Sony and Disney, they're going to be best friends for this Spider-Man venture. Let's see if it turns out well.
Got a friend in me. Got a friend in me.
We'll talk more about Spider-Man Homecoming a little bit later. So yeah, moving on to let's talk about Ant-Man real quick before we get into Black Panther. Ant-Man was so much better in this movie than he was.
Oh, hands down. Well, I mean, you can never the first. I feel like the first superhero movies, when they first do like the origins, you kind of have to give them a mulligan and kind of like, okay, we got that out of the way. We got that. Like Batman Begins. A lot of people didn't like it at first, and then it kind of grew on people because it's an origin story. You're telling a story, and so Ant-Man was kind of, it's Paul Rudd.
No, Paul Rudd's performance as Ant-Man was better in this movie. I thought it was a fine movie. I said Ant-Man as a character was so much better in this movie than he was in his own movie.
Yeah,
I think that's just because Paul Rudd's really good at bouncing off people.
Yeah, I mean his interaction with Captain America, I thought that was hilarious. He's like, you're my biggest fan. I mean, I'm your biggest fan. Like all that, this stupid things like that. I thought was, and the thing that was really intriguing, and I thought it was really cool was, of course, they cheesed his ability to do the giant.
Oh yeah, he's like, I've only done this once.
Yep, so cool.
Giant Ant-Man was so funny. Like when he has the freaking War Machine by the hand, he's like, ha 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 ha, and then like Iron Man's like, so does any of you guys have superpowers that we don't know yet that you're about to introduce, like this guy right here? And like, it was just great. Paul Rudd was great in this movie, and now because everyone skipped Ant-Man. I didn't know everyone skipped Ant-Man. Everyone did apparently, because like afterwards when I was walking out my theater corner, everyone's like, man, I gotta go watch that Ant-Man movie now. I didn't know this guy was funny. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you didn't know Paul Rudd was funny? Like, do you not know Paul Rudd movies? Like, well, that's the thing too. I want to put this out there. If you did not see other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, do not come into this one thinking you're going to understand everything. You're going to be fucking lost. If you come into this movie without at least watching Age of Ultron and Captain America Winter Soldier, those are the two I recommend. You have to at least watch those two before you watch this one. If you come into this movie without any experience, you're just like, oh, well, I've always wanted to know what this hoopla was about. You're going to be fucking lost. You're going to be sitting there like, oh, cool. The fights are cool, but I didn't understand the plot. You're not going to understand the plot. But Ant-Man, I'm surprised a lot of people skipped his movie and stuff like that. That was surprising to me. But a lot of people now are going back to watch Ant-Man. So, hey, good for that. Get some more DVD sales in there.
There you go. Boom. Blu-ray. No, Ant-Man, I think Ant-Man had a more comfort level, and you're right. I think he just Paul Rudd bounced off people better as the team. So that's why I'm kind of half shocked that they gave the green light for they're gonna do a sequel to Ant-Man. They're gonna do Ant-Man 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which I was kind of half surprised at, to be honest with you, just because that wasn't in the cards originally. And then they went ahead and did it. It was just, not that I thought Ant-Man was a horrible movie. I was just more surprised that they did it so quickly. But I guess Ant-Man did better than we all thought it did. But no, I thought that this was a smart idea too. Because, in theory, you could do Civil War without the introduction of the new characters like Ant-Man, Spider-Man, and Black Panther. You could have done it without them. You really could have. You had enough depth from the Avengers Age of Ultron. You still had, a couple of people here and there. You could have done Civil War without them. And, in the comics, again, Civil War is pretty much the entire Marvel universe. So everyone and their mother, even villains, were split down the middle in the comic book, but that's neither here nor there. Point is that they didn't have to introduce these characters in this way, but I think it was very smart for them to do them, especially Black Panther, who's getting his own solo movie. We know Spider-Man's getting his own solo movie under the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think Ant-Man was a good way to kind of inject him and that character into this group, so you can at least get used to the idea of him working with the others and see how useful he can be. So I thought that was a very, very smart move writing wise, not just for the star power, but just for like, okay, here's how he works with the others, and this is how good he works. Because I thought him going through Iron Man's suit was absolutely fucking riot. And stuff like that too. So I just thought it was very well done overall.
All right, so minor characters we're going to get to first. Hawkeye pretty much was Hawkeye. He was just being the dad of Scarlet Witch this movie. Nothing more for Hawkeye. Just being retired and then coming out just to help Cap out just for a bit. Black Widow being Black Widow, just being double agent like always. You know,
Yep.
always the good friend to Steve. Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen, you got to call me. You're hot. Love you. Beautiful. You can do the big Russian accent.
Work your magic on me.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch and Vision were flirting. If you guys don't know, in the comics, they have a relationship. So I'm pretty sure they're kind of building towards that. Vision was very humorous in this movie, but nothing really too much about the Affinity Stones, Connor. You know how Marvel loves those things, the Affinity Stones and stuff like that. This was have to be the next to Ant-Man, one of the only few movies they didn't really go balls deep into the Affinity Stones, where they were talking way too much about them and confusing people.
Well, I think they needed to. I think they needed to have a standalone because so much comes at the end as far as, you know, where things stand with the heroes of the earth. That, you know, this movie kind of had to happen because, you know, it's like, oh, fuck the Stones. We need to do this part first. Because, you know, I guarantee you they're gonna load Thor Ragnarok. They're gonna load it with Infinity Stone reference, especially.
Not Google Thor Ragnarok because you're gonna get spoiled who the villain is. I'm just telling you right now.
Oh, I'm gonna go Google in just a second. But you know, I'm expecting that one to have a lot of Infinity Stone based detail in that, because we really didn't get much in Iron Man. We really didn't get much in, with the exception of the first Captain America with the Tesseract. That was the only, and we didn't even know that was an Infinity Stone at that point. But that was more of a setup for Avengers, but that's, you know, again, neither here nor there. So, you know, I think the Infinity Stones will play a bigger part in the long scheme of things. But honestly, I'm kind of glad they didn't reference the Infinity Stones, unless, you know, it didn't need it. It didn't need it at all. And again, I feel like they need to kind of cross their T's and dot their I's on certain characters, because, you know, I think someone from Marvel Cinematic Universe said something, like one of the directors or something said, like, just so you know, there's going to be like probably about 40 characters in Infinity War when it comes out. Just throwing that out there. So, you know,
why I think they did Ant-Man 2, because they realized, you know, they're not going to really do a bunch of Iron Man movies because Robert Downey Jr. is going to be asking for a lot of money. Captain America movies are kind of done with them, and so it's just like they're trying to flesh out these characters as much as they can. And, you know, getting Spider-Man was just like, hey, you know what? We got more movies to make, so it's fine with them.
I will be very interested to see how Infinity War is set up, the first part, because I have an idea of how the second one's gonna how it's gonna end on the first one. But as far as just getting to that boiling point, it's gonna be very interesting. And then and again, not to say any spoilers, because I don't even know anything yet until I Google it later. Thor Ragnarok has been said by a lot of directors that Thor Ragnarok will have major implications to setting up Infinity War. That's all they said. They just said that Thor Ragnarok will be one that you definitely do not want to miss, because some things happen in that movie that are major setups to Infinity War. Much like Winter Soldier was a major setup for Avengers Age of Ultron, because S.H.I.E.L.D. was gone. And so that kind of also was the precursor to Civil War. So it's for some, what I've heard, it's something along that lines too, where something's going to happen in Ragnarok where it's going to be a major setup to Infinity War when it comes out. Can you believe that's going to come out like sooner than later? Like, holy hell.
Yeah. So I'm just warning people, because I know a lot of people had complaints when they Googled Captain America Winter Soldier. They're like, oh, now I know who the villain is. Fuck. You're going to get spoiled who Ragnarok is if you because Ragnarok's a character. It's not just a cool title. It's a character in the Thor universe. So.
Which, by the way, part 1 of Infinity Wars, I just wanted to double check that, comes out in 2 years. It's only it's going to get here sooner than later, folks. And then then part 2 is the following year.
Yep. So that's going to be insane. And we're going to have a bunch of movies in between that I'm pretty sure Connor and I will break down in the near future. But now finally we'll talk about Black Panther, who to me was one of the stars of this movie. Pretty much you already knew who Black Panther was going to be. His intro scene is where he's at the they were at they weren't at the Senate. They were at somewhere where they were going to sign the bill for the Superhero Registration Act. He's all flirting with Scarlet Witch and not Scarlet Witch, Black Widow. He's all flirting with Scarlett Johansson and stuff like that. The bomb goes off that we assumed that Winter Soldier set off, even though he didn't. You know, that was just the assumption at the time during the movie. And he was like, "Don't worry, I handle matters my own way." And he puts on the Black Panther suit. Obviously, his country, where he's from, has all
Wakanda.
Wakanda. The vibranium, isn't that what it's called? The vibranium movie?
So,
the vibranium armor?
Yep, they mentioned that in Ultron. Wakanda, Wakanda is the, is a very proud African village, and its biggest claim to fame, besides the royal family and the ability of the Black Panther, which has been passed down generations, is the fact that they have the world's largest source of vibranium, which is the same metallic material that was made by Ultron, that Ultron was made of, and is also found in Captain America's shield.
Fun comic book nerdy stat. Captain America's shield is actually made of adamantium, which is also made from Wolverine. They cannot use adamantium because that's owned by Fox. Thank you.
Right. Well, actually, in the comics, it's a mix, but it's more. But you're right. It's more adamantium than it is vibranium. Gotta love those fake comic book metals.
Yeah, exactly. Adamantium.
Way too many of them.
Adamantium, bub. Fucking Wolverine.
This is bullshit alien.
Yeah. So. Just a fun comic book nerdy fact. But yeah, so pretty much he's there to try to kill Winter Soldier. His fight scenes are awesome. His claws are awesome. Everything about Black Panther is just awesome. I love how, like, when Tony's leaving the underwater superhero base, you just see Black Panther stalking, creeping on him hard, man. So great stuff by Black Panther. He was good. I liked him. Got to work on the African accent a little bit, but he was good.
Such a badass. They made him look like a badass. And the funny thing is, too, they did something that they haven't done in the Marvel universe yet, but I think that the way they did it was very intriguing, is that they had someone who was already established as a superhero, quote unquote, but we didn't really know their backstory, but we just knew, like, oh, hell, it's going to go down right now. And it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, it's kind of a precursor to his origin story, which I'm assuming Black Panther is going to be a pre-telling of how he became Black Panther. I don't know.
Well, because he became Black Panther because his dad died. It was
Right, but that's what I'm saying, is that we didn't see that much or if at all, as far as I know, in the movie. So it's very interesting that they injected him that way versus like just going the normal route where it's like, oh, we don't have him whatsoever until he has his movie and then we introduce him. So it's kind of a little, ass backwards. The only exception to that, of course, is Spider-Man, but everyone fucking knows Spider-Man's origin story by this point. If you don't,
radioactive spider, he's good.
With great power comes Ben. Okay, that we all know.
I'm surprised they did not say that fucking line throughout the movie. I was surprised that did not get thrown out there.
But no, it was different, and there were a lot of things about this movie that were different, and I liked it a lot. And Black Panther. It's funny. The Black Panther movie was kind of so on, but I'm going to be seeing every Marvel Cinematic movie anyway. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But the Black Panther movie was kind of so on. But then I watched it in Civil War. I was like, okay, that just climbed to the top of my list.
Yeah, just his fight scenes were so fun to watch. Like you get to see that he could actually do damage. Because Captain America's shield, it can survive almost everything. But at the end of the movie, remember when Cap dropped his shield, you saw the claw marks that were left from Black Panther's claws and stuff like that. You can see that this guy can do some damage and everything like that when he wants to. So pretty much Black Panther, he's an interesting character. I wonder how they're going to take his movie approach, because the way they presented Black Panther was so fast and just like he's so badass and everything like that his movie might be a little bit slow, and I think it might turn off some fans, but we'll have to wait until it gets to that point of time. So Black Panther and Spider-Man were two of the highlights. Connor, do you have the movie list that they have planned up?
Not yet. You know what? I'm actually, funny you mentioned that. I was actually just in the middle of trying to find that. Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline. Oh boy, that's probably the wrong one, because that's probably the timeline of the movies as far as their relation to everything else, which God knows I'll be here forever. Phase 3, I believe, is what we're in right now. Okay, let's take a peek here.
I thought we were done with Phase 3.
No, I think we're still. Yep. Well, it's funny. Phase 3 started with Civil War.
Okay.
So basically, Phase 3 is Captain America: Civil War, Doctor Strange.
That one's so-so. That one's going to be a so-so one for sure.
Well, it's interesting because with the exception of like Scarlet Witch and Thor, which I think we were talking about again too, we haven't really dived in the world of magic too much in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's going to be very. I'm interested. I think Benedict Cumberbatch is going to really nail the part. I just want to see more of what's going to happen in the story. This is the one I want to see. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I cannot wait for that one. Just because I think they're going to find their way closer to Earth, and I want to see exactly how that comes about. Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, and then we do Infinity War Part 1, Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it looks like Ant-Man and Wasp will be coming out after Infinity War Part 1, which is interesting. Then we got Captain Marvel, which is the female, not the male, and Avengers Infinity War. No, God. Avengers Infinity War Part 2, and then the Inhumans at the end of all that. And that leads us right into about the end of 2019.
Yeah, and then also with the Netflix shows, you guys don't follow up on Netflix. They also have tie-ins. So in the Netflix shows, you have the Daredevil, the Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage. Daredevil season 2 got released recently. Luke Cage season 1 is getting released in September, and then Iron Fist next year, and that leads to the Defenders, and they do play a part in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So a lot of Marvel in between then. Which one are you most excited about off the list you just read? Minus Infinity War, because we know that one. But
I mean, Infinity War is just going to be like Infinity War is just going to be the biggest nerd orgasm in Marvel Cinematic history. I think Spider-Man Homecoming, just because I want to see exactly what they do. Because, I mean, I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess, in some regards, you know. But looking at the Phase 3, Doctor Strange does intrigue me. I definitely want to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2, because I think Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was one of those ones where it's like, what the hell? Okay, that was amazing. What no one, not saying it was gonna suck, but no one expected it to be.
No one expected Guardians to be that great. Like everyone was like, Guardians, what does this have to do with superheroes? And then boom, it just came. It blew out Age of Ultron. It blew out one of the movies that came out over the summer. Like everyone was so surprised. It was the highest grossing movie of that summer.
So, I mean, it's hard because literally, I think with the exception of, I think literally every movie that's coming out in Phase 3, I have some very big intrigue to go see. So it's kind of hard to decide. But if I were to narrow it down to 2 of them, it would probably be Black Panther and Thor Ragnarok. Those would be the 2 big ones on my list. As much as Spider-Man intrigues me, it's kind of like they're just going to do a Spider-Man movie to do a Spider-Man movie. I think Thor Ragnarok, especially because, yes, Chase, I did Google while we were on this conversation. I did see the villain. Holy hell, that just makes me want to see it that much more. And I do want to see what they do with Black Panther, because that badass. So those 2.
Yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming for me, because big Spider-Man fan. And I'm also interested to see how more Marvel and Sony work together, because that's the main key, because everyone forgets. Sony still has Spider-Man. They're just loaning him to Marvel.
Watch the opening scene is Peter Parker playing on his PS4.
Oh, it's gonna be great. His Sony virtual reality stuff going on. So
we'll just watch that. We'll go see it together, Chase. I'll fly to California. We'll just watch it. As soon as we see the opening scene, we just laugh and laugh.
Oh man, I'm playing on my new PS4 exclusive game.
Yeah.
Virtual reality is great.
It's called Superhero Loner.
And then Thor Ragnarok for me, because the Thor movies, I'm going to be honest with you, Connor, I haven't liked either one of them.
No, I can't remember which ones.
I don't get everyone's love with Loki. I just don't. I think he sucks.
I thought the first one was just to establish the villain. The second one, I like the end. The last quarter of the movie I thought was really interesting, especially because we don't know what the hell happened with that ending. Does anyone? It's been a couple years, but Loki's in charge. Anyone catch that? No?
Yeah, exactly. He's in charge.
And Thor's on Earth nothing.
Has an Infinity Stone inside her. Like the fuck.
And Thor's just Thor's on Earth with the Avengers, like nothing happened.
Yeah, he's just like helping Hydra stuff and everything like that. But yeah, I'm interested in Thor Ragnarok not only because of the villain, but just to see if the world of Asgard can get explored a little bit more in a little bit better detail. Because that's the thing with the Thor movies. I actually like Asgard in the comics. I think it's an interesting world. And it's just like, I don't know what it is. Maybe because they don't own the rights to Galactus. I don't know what it is. Or Silver Surfer, who's also a big deal. He doesn't exist still because of Fantastic Four bullshit.
Fox.
Fuck you, Fox. I know, right? Actually, thank you, Fox, because then I don't have to endure Infinity War ending with Wolverine killing Thanos. So thank you. So Wolverine doesn't have to get put over in every fucking movie he's in. But you know, that's the thing. I just want to see how Asgard gets explored a little bit more. I'm interested to see what they do with Natalie Portman's character, with her having an Infinity Stone, because like you said, Connor, it's a major plot point, because Thanos, to activate the Infinity Gauntlet, he needs all the stones. We all know where they're located. One's with Vision. Yeah. Tesseract is somewhere around there.
I think they're only doing 5 of them. I don't think they're doing all 7. I think they're only doing 5 stones. So Portman's got one. Yes. Maybe we can find it on Mos Eisley in Star Wars. Sorry, I just had to make that stupid joke. The Collector has the Tesseract.
Oh yeah, he has the Tesseract.
No. He has the one from Lost World. He has the red one. He has the power gem.
I thought they stole. Oh yeah, the Collector has that one, and then the Guardians have one too.
No, the Nova Corps has. Oh fuck, I'm mixing them up now. No, Nova Corps has the power one. Corps has the power one. The one from Thor belongs to Collector, unless it was stolen in Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know. And then Tesseract is with
no.
Tesseract it's at Asgard, because they said at the end of okay. So there's that one, and then Vision has the mind. So that's 4 out of the 5.
That one's still
it's
out.
4 out of the 5. So we still are missing one. The other thing too was, I don't know how the hell Thanos got a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet. Never explained that one. I
think didn't they do something in Guardians? He's like, I got something to do. So maybe that's what he did in the middle of Guardians.
Well, the theory is that Loki is helping Thanos, and Loki is Loki gave him the Infinity Gauntlet in exchange for something.
Yeah, so that could possibly be the case. So it would make sense. I'm pretty sure other Marvel villains are going to make an appearance here or there to help Thanos, because you can't just have Infinity War being with Thanos just being the only villain. There has to be other villains, especially with all the fighting going on and everything like that. You know, with all the characters, like I'm sorry, you can't just make Thanos too OP. You have to have it where it's just also there's something else.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing like generals, you know what I mean? Like you'd see like maybe Red Skull show back up, which I think would be a very cool thing. Loki, you know, bring a couple of the other ones that have been around. Like I'm just trying to think of some ones off the top of my head.
Whiplash should be great.
Yeah. Can't wait for that one. But I wouldn't mind seeing some generals first and be like, you know, where are all these assholes coming from? And then Thanos just, I honestly want to see, and this is going to sound really sadistic of me, I want to see a lot of characters get killed in Infinity War, because that will make it just like, holy shit. I can't wait to see like literally Thanos like take Black Widow by the ankle and just break her like a twig.
I think Batista's going to get jobbed out in Infinity War, because Drax does die by the comics. So
calling it, I think that'd be smart too, which sucks. Figures Batista does a job no matter where he goes. Not because, and here's the thing, I love Black Widow. I heard they're actually petitioning, and there's a very strong chance Black Widow might get her own solo movie, which would be very interesting to see in some regards. But I'm just saying in general, I don't care who it is. Like I just want to see people like get cracked by Thanos, because that's the only way you're gonna make him look really strong. Fuck wrestling talk.
If you're a wrestling fan, you do wrestling talk with a lot of shit. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Like I always go like, oh man, it was great for LeBron James to put over the Spurs that one year. Like I say that sometimes.
It just bugs me sometimes.
Like, God damn it, Manny, why'd you have to bury Cam Newton? So.
But I think that Thanos should kill some of the people off in Marvel Cinematic, like Falcon. Wouldn't mind. I'm just saying in general, I think some people need to die in Infinity War Part 1 in order.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ant-Man and Wasp is afterwards. I was gonna say the new Wasp would be a good one to kill off, but then you can't because Ant-Man and Wasp is the next movie.
Honestly, I would kill off Ant-Man, not Wasp. I would
No,
switch it.
I'll kill off Wasp so that way Scott Lang can relate to Hank Pym a little bit more.
Ooh, okay. Okay. All right,
That's
throw that out there.
why I said kill off Wasp. Yeah, maybe you could kill her off, and then everyone's like, "Why the fuck are they making the movie?" And then we can see the prequel, and then makes you feel even more bad that hot chick's down. You're like, "What's she had to do that?" Like, you know.
But no, I just think that in Infinity War, some of the good guys need to die because that would just really set it over the top. I think.
Did you do a kill off the Hulk? Because really, to be honest,
thinking about that actually, I was just thinking about that. They probably could get away with it, but as far as like creatively, that's kind of tough to do. Although, to be fair, if anyone's gonna kill the Hulk, Thanos would be probably,
because it's like you're not gonna get. Let's be real here. Hulk single movies never fucking work out. Like
True.
they just don't work out.
Well, I think this is no spoiler at this point, and plus we're in spoiler territory. He's gonna be in Ragnarok. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, I mean, again, if anyone's gonna kill the Hulk, Thanos would probably be the best. And can you imagine legitimately though, like just everyone, all the Avengers, like, oh shit, he just killed the Hulk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would be the perfect ending to part one. You know, they're like, because the Hulk is like Thor's probably the most powerful Avenger if you want to go into powers and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of a toss up between him and Thor and Hulk, but yeah.
Yeah, but Thor, the thing is, he's kind of like a little bit of a setback because remember in the first Thor movie, he got most of his powers taken away from him and everything like that. He was pretty much he's still pretty much trying to grow back to being the king of Asgard that he's supposed to be. The Hulk is pretty much the most powerful fucking Avenger. I don't care what anyone says. He is the most powerful Avenger.
Yeah, I'll argue that. I'll agree with that. Yeah, because I mean Thor.
But Vision's not going to be in this movie because Vision's going to be taken away. Scarlet Witch, she's still too young. Hulk is the powerful. If you went and Infinity War Part 1 with the Hulk dead, holy shit, way to go into Infinity War Part 2. You're like, who could stop fucking Thanos if the Hulk can't?
Yep. I mean, that's to be completely honest, that's probably the way I would write at the end of Part 1 is Thanos just kills Hulk. That'd be nuts.
And then if everyone
you have to wait a whole year to see what happens.
It'd be great. And then everyone's going to ask, but then you can't bring him back. This is fucking comic book movies. Obviously, you motherfuckers never watched one before or read the comics. Everyone comes back. They die, they come back.
Have we confirmed what the fifth and final stone is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Because they've said we've gotten power, we've gotten. Damn it! I need to look it up now. Because there's a rumor that someone said like originally that before this, and this obviously didn't happen, was that Captain America was going to die in Civil War, and that he would be brought back with the Time Stone in Infinity War, which I thought was the genius way to write him off. But I need to figure out what Infinity Stones in Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they're only doing 5, and in the original comics there are a total of. Okay, here we go. They're officially rebranding it. 4 have been directly introduced in the MCU so far. The Space Stone, which is the Tesseract, the Reality Stone, which is the Ether, the Power Stone, which is the orb from Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Mind Stone, which is, of course, now in Vision. Reality Stone is the Ether. That's the one from Thor Lost World. So they've done 4 out of the 5, it looks like. So I wonder if the 5th one's going to be Time.
The fifth one, maybe Doctor Strange would be the movie. Either Doctor Strange or Spider-Man would be the movie they introduced it in, because they want, I don't know, maybe they would introduce it in Spider-Man because they want people to know about the 5th stone. And, Doctor Strange, even though it would make more sense for him to be in there, I could see them throwing it in Spider-Man, Ooh.
It's funny you mention that. So I just did some digging, and it says here there's actually a total of 6 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that means that the only 2 that are left are the Soul Stone, which would be a perfect tie-in for Doctor Strange. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
and the Time Stone. Marvel hasn't revealed when will either of these stones, although I suspect that 2016 Doctor Strange may feature stone since as a protagonist, magic will likely have some sort of connection into the Marvel Cinematic Universe comic side. Given that Thor flew back to Asgard at the end of Avengers Age of Ultron to learn more about the stones, it's also possible that Thor Ragnarok will feature the well. Either way, we can expect 6 stones to be coming together. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, apparently there was a trailer for it. Sorry, I didn't cut you off there. But it's saying that one of the extra features in the Avengers Age of Ultron Blu-ray trailer is Unlock the Infinite Six, which is accompanying a shot of Thanos from Marvel's Phase 3 slate announcement last year with him wearing the Infinity Gauntlet. So yeah, they've pretty much confirmed there'll be 6 stones this time.
Okay, so there's six stones. So the 2 movies, I say they introduced them in. I would be fine with Thor, but Thor already has a stone. And if they really want to make it where it's like, oh, this one has a big implication to the Marvel Universe, they have to kill off Natalie Portman's character. That's what I think they're going to do in Thor Ragnarok. Natalie Portman's character is going to die because she already has a stone. So let's take Thor out of the equation. Doctor Strange is definitely going to get a stone. And then most likely, because like they need something for this Spider-Man movie where it's just like, they know people are going to go see the new Spider-Man movie. Iron Man's already confirmed for the new Spider-Man movie and everything like that. I'm pretty sure, and I heard the rumors, the early rumors is that the Sinister Six is going to be the main villains for Spider-Man Homecoming.
What I heard, yeah.
So it could be that, Doc Ock finds out about the stone and then Iron Man teams up with Spider-Man to help get the stone before anyone else can touch it. So those are my predictions.
I mean, the Soul Stone would, I think we're in common agreements that the Soul Stone would make the most sense in Doctor Strange just because 100%. Of the magic tie-ins. That's not the only reason I think the Time Stone would be more sense in would make more sense in Thor is because Thor's kind of where we started to get the idea of not just the Tesseract but all the Infinity Stones, really, as far as them actually saying the broader picture of, oh yeah, there's 6 of them. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. Guardians of the Galaxy was the first time we actually heard about that one as far as the broader picture, but Thor pretty much more confirmed it. I just think something as the concept of time would be more suited for Asgardian, the gods, higher power kind of deal. Like the power one made all the sense in Guardians of the Galaxy, and for the Mind Stone. And so, if you think about it, most of them are like out there, out there or otherworldly areas. The only one that was found on Earth was the Tesseract. So, to me, just again in my head, it would make more sense for the Time Stone to be out there as far as something like supernatural or other I can't even talk it right, otherworldly. So that's why, as much as I wouldn't mind seeing it in the Spider-Man one with the Iron Man team up, it just kind of would make me a little like leery and a little iffy about it to be like, hey, yo, we found this Time Stone in Queens, like we got to go get it. Like, what I mean? It's a little iffy for me.
The reason why I say the Time Stone in Spider-Man, because Spider-Man does have a lot of relations with time. A lot of the villains wish they could go back in the past. Spider-Man wishes he could go back in the past. Maybe you can add in the different Spider-Man universes. Spider-Man 2099 is a pretty popular character and stuff like that. That's why I think the Time Stone could work in it.
True.
Because I feel like Spider-Man, he hears about this like, oh, it has the power to control time. Spider-Man probably thinks to himself, being a young kid, I can bring back Uncle Ben. Like I can make Uncle Ben come home, aka Homecoming. AKA Time Stone confirmed in Spider-Man, motherfuckers.
And boom, Chase drops the mic and we all walk home.
Yeah. So we're gonna answer some questions, Connor, and then we're gonna wrap this up. So that's all the spoiler and predictions and preview talk. We're gonna answer your guys' questions about Civil War only. Anything else? So maybe anything else related. We're not answering fucking wrestling questions. That's pretty much what I'm gonna say right now.
Nope. If you want that, I'll be doing a Wrestling Paradise in about an hour on my channel. So head over there.
Head over to Connor's channel, and then you'll wrestling talk from him. Wrestling Paradise with Preston.
Yep.
There we go. I was trying to remember if his name was Preston or not. Rebecca Olson asked, do you think Black Widow should get her own movie? Not really.
Okay, I'm fine with people getting their solo movies as long as the writing's there and there's substance there. Like, I hated Iron Man 3. I'm sorry. But Iron Man 3 was just because they took a great villain like the Mandarin. The writing was just yuck. Like, I didn't mind Tony's struggle and all that stuff. That was kind of a little intriguing, but just the writing was just garbage. So I'm all for Black Widow having her own movie. Just as long as there's substance there, that's all I'm saying. Maybe even a tie-in. Who knows? But maybe expand on that. Maybe expand on that.
I don't care for a path.
Maybe expand on that relationship with the Hulk.
She goes and tries to track down the Hulk. That'd be pretty boring.
I want to play hide the cucumber.
Red Wolf wants to know, where would you rank Civil War in the best Marvel movies? So where does Civil War rank for you in the best Marvel movies?
Probably. Oh God, you're making me like actually put a number to these things. I'd probably put it up there, like in the top 3, if not top 2, for me. As far, that's a toughie because honestly, like, that's really tough. Like, because Avengers is up there, and so is Winter Soldier, and so it's kind of a shuffling of those 3. That's a tough one for me, though.
It's number 3 for me right now. I got to go see it a second time and see if I still love it like Winter Soldier. So if you guys want to know my top 5 Marvel movies from the cinematic universe, not other superhero movies, not including the X-Men or Spider-Man Sam Raimi or the other DC movies, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe only, my top 5: number 1, Captain America: Winter Soldier; number 2, the first Iron Man; number 3, Captain America: Civil War; number 4, the Avengers; and then number 5. Oh God, this is where you get tricky with this one, because this is more of a personal preference, if you will. Number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh, yeah, that's tough though. They've come up with so many good ones. It's been a really tough call. So yeah.
That's just in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not every fucking superhero movie, because everyone gets confused by that part.
Call me tits. Call me tits.
No, exactly. Draven G mentions that at least Zemo didn't feed anyone cherry Jolly Ranchers like Lex Luthor did in Batman v Superman. Yep. Do you think Tom Holland is the best Peter Parker / Spider-Man that we've seen? To me, he was, asked by Red Wolf.
Well, I mean, to be fair, jury's still out. He's only been in one movie. But I love him. I think so far he's the most accurate.
Yes, he killed it.
So, I mean, yeah, I love it, but I can't be like, oh, he's the best. He's only been in one movie so far. Ask me that again after Homecoming.
See, Tobey Maguire, he was the perfect, like, serious Peter Parker. But as Spider-Man, he wasn't jokey. He was just like,
emo.
Yeah. You know, if Spider-Man was older, that's Tobey Maguire. I'll take it. I'll be like, yeah, you know what? Dig it. Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was a great Spider-Man, but not a good Peter Parker, because there is nothing about him that screamed like, oh man, this kid's very smart. Like, okay, cool. He's skateboarding to learn to train. Like, fuck that. That's not what Peter Parker would do. Peter Parker's not that athletic. He even claimed that he was never athletic in the first place. So why would he be athletic before he gets the spider powers? Makes no sense to me. But yeah, he's probably the best representation that we've got so far. But like Connor said, Homecoming is going to be the film where you decide if he's the best Spider-Man. Right now, Toby to me is still the best. Like right now, as it stands, like through movies, Tobey Maguire has the edge on this kid. I mean, he's only been in a quarter of a fucking movie. Tobey Maguire at least has 3 movies. Sure, Spider-Man 3 fucked that all up, but still, he's still the best. All right. Anthony Ward TV wants to know movie of the year. I don't know. Way too early for that shit.
Yeah, it's a little. We're not even technically the halfway point of the year. So I mean, come on, give some credit here.
All we know, that's when Apocalypse could like blow everyone's socks off.
I'm really iffy about that one. I'm really iffy. And the thing is, I loved First Class and I loved Days of Future Past. I don't know. I'm a little iffy about this one.
Yeah, so maybe Connor and I will come back after Memorial Day weekend and talk about that shit. I'm excited for Apocalypse, but same with Connor, iffy. So who knows? Like, there's a bunch of other movies coming out. Also, you got to put into the factor those indie films that no one fucking sees until later in the fucking year. And everyone says they're the greatest films of all time and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, so. And I'm pretty sure there's some DiCaprio movie that will blow everyone's socks off or something like that.
Where he gets raped by a bear.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole movie pretty much, or ever not. But congratulations, Leo. God, could you imagine they got DiCaprio in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie? Fuck. Game over.
Just make it rain. Make it rain.
Felicio Snow asks, do you think it was stupid for Steve Rogers and Kate, who is Peggy White's granddaughter, to kiss, that romance was very forced. What did you think about Captain America? I mean, she was only introduced in Winter Soldier as his neighbor, and didn't really do much.
I mean, they did. Okay, they only teased one true romantic relationship, and that was at Captain America: First Avenger. I think they tried to do it with Winter Soldier with Black Widow, but it just wasn't happening. But I just, not a fan of that. Cap doesn't need no bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I just felt that there's like a nitpick of this movie. That's it. It's like, she's hot. I won't deny that. If I was Captain America, sure, why not? But I don't think it was a necessary need to this movie. It didn't make this movie go over the top because he's now with some blonde chick. Like, what's she gonna play? Like you said, Connor, this is probably the last Captain America movie. What more does she have to offer besides the fact that she works for the government? I don't know. So,
right. Yeah.
No Samuel L. Jackson. Were you surprised by that, Connor?
No, I really wasn't, because he kind of went into seclusion after Winter Soldier.
But
we didn't see him in
cameo of Nick Fury. I mean, I don't know about you, Connor, but the crowd popped at the Age of Ultron when Samuel L. Jackson pulled out and be like, "You guys need to be heroes." And I was like, just fucking Samuel out. They're all freaking out in my movie theater of Age of Ultron. I was depressed. I like Black Nick Fury. I love him.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love Nick Fury. I just don't think it was needed in this. I think there was enough like wow and amazing factors in this movie without him. So it would have been a bonus. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think it was needed. But
what's the next movie Samuel L. Jackson's going to be in? Is it Infinity War? Is he going to?
I would
somewhere else.
There's a couple of them I would love to see him in. I'd love to see him in Spider-Man.
Yes.
To be completely honest, I think Spider-Man would be the perfect. Place for him to show back up. Like, so you're the kid with the spider powers. The banter between the two of them would just be great.
I would like to see him in Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man.
That'd be weird. That'd be a little weird.
Well, Thor Ragnarok, it's Nick fucking Fury. He could be like, "I've been tracking you the whole time, Hulk. I know where you were at. Don't try to play stupid with me. You know, I didn't tell Black Widow. Don't worry. You know, he can play that role." I feel like he would be a good dialogue role, like that for the audience to understand, because you know Thor's talks in old speech. You know, Bruce Banner when he's the Hulk is like, he would be a good dialogue character for the movie. So I think he would be good for the movie to kind of explain and also to be the person to help Natalie Portman's character out. You know,
true. Then he breaks out a purple lightsaber and just starts dropping MF bombs.
He's like Mace Windu, dude. I'm tired of these motherfucking Infinity Stones and these motherfucking movies and these motherfucking snakes.
How'd you get here? I got here by a plane had snakes on it.
I brought my friend RoboCop along. He's gonna help kick your asses.
Oh God! And here comes RoboCop.
That was a failed movie. Speaking of bad movies, what are your thoughts on Doctor Strange movie coming out? We kind of went into that, Jay Walker. We think it's going to be fine, iffy on it, but we think it's going to surprise for the most part. Case and Frost, how intense did you think the Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Iron Man fight in the end? That was a pretty intense fight. Not the best fight, but probably the most intense fight. Yeah,
the choreography of all the fights was just. Whoever did them should get a raise. Seriously, yes. I mean, throughout the entire movie, whoever did it should. If they can get that same person for Infinity War,
it's gonna be great. Gonna be great fights, right? Jake Loomis, were you afraid that one of these characters would get killed off? I wasn't afraid. I wanted one of the characters to get killed off and all.
I kind of wasn't. I wasn't afraid. I would have been. To be honest, I think. And it's gonna sound kind of cheesy, but like we've built up a lot of heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, and none of them has died off. When one of them does, it's I think it's gonna add so much more. Oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, that's a lie. Quicksilver was killed off in Ultron, so but he wasn't really built up that far. So I feel like when someone dies in the MCU going forward, as far as a major hero, it's gonna be a major deal.
Oh yeah, it has to be a major deal because like remember Age of Ultron, the rumors. Oh, Hawkeye's gonna get killed off. Hawkeye's gonna get killed off. Quicksilver is the one that dies, and I love the quick jab that he left at the audience. You didn't see that coming, did you? It's like, no, we didn't. We thought Hawkeye was gonna die. Like you knew because the way they were playing that movie, you thought Hawkeye was dead. Oh, his wife's pregnant. They're making out. Yeah, go on.
Speaking of which, did you hear the rumor about Ryan Reynolds?
No, what's the rumor?
Okay, so the rumor is that Ryan Reynolds or someone petitioning for him or whatever have you is trying to coerce Fox to have Deadpool have a 3-minute cameo in Infinity War. just to show up, do something stupid and then leave.
Yeah, I'm here to help you guys fight. Oh my god, that guy looks really powerful. Hey, look, I would love to see it, but I did not get paid enough to get my ass kicked by this guy. Bye, guys, and then he just leaves.
If he broke the fourth wall, it's like wow, it's like the Marvel unit. It's like wow, it's like I'm not wanted here because of a bad cross promotion or something. Anyway, you guys look like you're having fun. I'll leave you guys be. Carry on.
That line where he's all like, huh, it's funny that you guys live in this big mansion, but there's only 2 of you here. It's like the producers didn't want to go.
I love that. It's like, wow, this big mansion. I've just only seen the 2 of you guys living here. It's like the producers and the director couldn't afford other actors or something.
Oh, fucking great stuff like that. That would actually be pretty. That would actually be pretty funny. I'd be down with that. The thing is, what's stopped now since Deadpool was such a huge success because. I think there were like people because like I heard after Apocalypse, Fox is taking a hold on the X-Men. They're going to take a hold on the X-Men.
What else can they do at this point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's kind of the big baddie, but you know, there's still you could redo the Phoenix Saga. You can redo that, but I mean, there was a lot of people speculating that maybe Fox was going to get into a deal with Marvel with featuring the X-Men. But the problem is now, with Deadpool being such a big success, Marvel is going to be trying to expect Deadpool to also come with that deal because Deadpool is a part of the X-Men universe. So that's going to be a tough sell if Fox and Marvel get into the initiation because we all know that if Marvel wants someone that under the X-Men banner, they just want Wolverine. They could give 2 shits about Cyclops, Jean Grey, and all that other shit. They just want fucking Wolverine. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's all they want. They just want Wolverine to be like, what up, bub, and all that other shit. So
would be interesting.
We'll see. But her DC fanboy says, fuck the critics. Batman v Superman was better than this shit.
That's another topic for a whole other video. I'll just say that.
Clarkson Lopez asked, did you think Robert Downey Jr. killed it again as Iron Man?
I think he always does. I think the only one I was iffy about him was Iron Man 3. That's really it.
Yeah, Iron Man 3 was. You know, if you're not a comic book fan, I can respect why you liked it, but for us, fuck you for ruining the Mandarin. Like, shit.
Yep.
Do you think we'll see the Masters of Evil in a Marvel movie? More like the Netflix Marvel?
Yeah. No, that's fair. I feel it's funny. I feel like the Marvel movies are like the global heroes, and like the Marvel Netflix movies are like the secret underground heroes.
Yeah.
Which I love that. I think that's a genius marketing strategy because I know they have Daredevil, they have Punisher, Iron Fist is coming out soon. I heard.
Yeah.
Yep. Iron Fist is next. I think they're switching. I think Inhumans is actually going to be a Marvel series now.
Yeah, and then also Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolts are going to be in there. That's why I say the Masters of Evils is probably going to be more of a Netflix theme because if the Thunderbolts are going to be a Netflix theme and the Defenders are going to be a Netflix theme, I think the Masters of Evils might be more of a Netflix thing that they're going to do. So keep an eye out on Netflix and keep in mind the Netflix superheroes could very well be an Infinity War and everything like that. Because I heard rumors that the first part of the Infinity War is not going to feature a lot of the main Avengers. They're going to be featuring kind of the side characters and stuff like that. So,
well, it's going to be interesting to see what the state of the Avengers is when we get to that point. Because in Civil War, it's changed.
Phone call away. They're one phone call away. Remember that, Connor.
Yeah, God.
You need us. You just have to call that prepaid cell phone. Oh God. We already answered that. Draven G up who we expect to die in the Infinity War and stuff like that.
Yep.
Jay Walker asks, "What's your favorite superhero with no powers? What's your favorite Marvel superhero with no powers?" Connor?
I mean, would Iron Man technically count? Because
Iron Man doesn't have powers.
Well, no, yeah. So it'd be Iron Man. It'd be Iron Man. Because I was gonna say Spider Man, but nope. Nope. So Iron Man.
Black Panther. He doesn't have powers. He's just very good. He's just not very athletic. He knows karate.
In a cat suit.
Draven G suspects that maybe Black Panther the movie might have an Infinity Gem because Wakanda does seem like that type of place to have a gem. Oh yeah, that's true. Wakanda could have a gem in store there. So
that's that. Okay, kudos on that one.
That's a good thought. We didn't think about that. I'm just because Spider-Man's such a big character, and the success that their Sam Raimi's and even the Amazing Spider-Man had some success that they would want to keep on that train. So that's the only reason why I say Spider-Man. It's more about money and stuff and who's going to see the movies. We already answered who was the better Spider-Man, asked by Weston. Weston asked, who would you guys like to see play Spider-Man? Tom Holland's playing Spider-Man. We're good. Angry Marcos asks, who do you guys think is the most misused comic book superhero? Most misused out of the bunch.
In terms of the movies?
Probably the Hulk.
Yeah. That's probably the best one.
Draven G, I've heard Sony might still do a Sinister Six and Venom spin-off movie because they won't be in the same universe as the MCU. No, Spider-Man is now part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spider-Man Homecoming is rumored is the Sinister Six. And Jay Walker asks, who the 6 Spider-Man villains you see in a Sinister Six movie if it happens? The 6 Spider-Man villains, I would like Doc Ock again. Yep. Doc Ock was a really good character.
Yep.
Electro would be fine.
Yes.
Electro has to be a part of it. Rhino? I don't know.
I would take Rhino.
I guess Rhino.
Mysterio?
Yeah, Mysterio has to be in a Spider-Man movie. We got to finally get Mysterio in a Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
Shocker. I like Shocker, but I don't know. Electro and Shocker more as vibrations and shit like that. So fucking give Shocker.
Why not?
Give Shocker some love to him. He sees the itsy bitsy spider in a great way. And then the final one, I guess you could go Kraven or Hydro, but I don't say Kraven.
Vulture.
Oh, Vulture. Oh, yeah, Vulture is a good one. Yeah, Vulture. Have like Jim Carrey play him. That'd be great.
That'd be hilarious.
It'd be a great Vulture. He has the bird face already. It would work perfectly.
Beautiful.
So, yeah. So those would be the 6 villains that I would like to see. Venom. Venom's an interesting one.
Venom, I wouldn't put him in a group, though.
Yeah, I know. But Venom, like, in general, like, where do you think they would go? Because we all know Venom has to be in a Spider-Man movie. But do you think because the problem is with the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we can definitely agree on is that it's too family friendly, and Venom's kind of like a really dark arc.
No, they could pull off a PG Venom. They just have to. I just feel like that would require 2 movies.
Yes, Venom has to be a 2-movie villain.
Because I know we were talking about that before.
Because Venom, like, you can't make him too scary though for the kids. You have to make him nice looking so the kids can go see the movie and stuff like that. Because Venom is the loved character. For fuck's sakes, I want to get a Venom tattoo right here and shit. So, Venom's awesome. He's a great character. Would you want to see Carnage in Spider-Man: Homecoming? No, you can't have fucking Carnage in Spider-Man. He's too. Carnage is an insane bastard. Okay, people don't realize that the guy Carnage. If people don't know about Carnage is pretty much a leftover from the symbiote, and the character of Carnage is an insane man who killed a bunch of kids and everything like that. You can't have him.
I would love to see him in a movie, but I don't think he's going to be in Homecoming. Maybe they just like F it and we did it, and I'm like, oh, that's okay, cool. He just decapitated Mary Jane. Awesome.
If you play the Amazing Spider-Man 2 on the PS4 or whatever, I think he's a villain in that one. Like,
isn't that a Sony product?
Yeah, it is. You gotta put Sony and Marvel are teaming up now.
Let me update this on my Walkman.
The new Sony Walkman. Like how many plugs would they have for like the Sony virtual reality? Like the people wearing the super goggles and they're like,
I think they did a lot of Sony plugs in one of the Spider-Man Tobey Maguire movies. I just can't remember which one.
oh god, there was so many Sony plugs. And like Spider-Man 2, there was a shit ton. I know freaking Spider-Man 3, there was a lot. There was like Sony plastered everywhere. It's like the Transformers. It's like they focus on the Chevy logo way too fucking long before they actually transform and everything like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. A few more questions. Cool. What are your thoughts on Punisher getting his own Netflix series? That's by Red 316. Good, as long as he doesn't mumble like he did in Daredevil season 2. I'm fine with it. Have you seen Daredevil season 2 yet?
I've seen half of it.
So yeah, Punisher
yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Castle. What?
Okay. Who is a comic book superhero you would like to see get their own movie? Asked by Rebecca Olson. So who doesn't have a movie that deserves their own movie?
Definitely.
Nick Fury. Nick Fury would be a good one. Figured out how he became.
That's a tough. You know what? Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing it. But I was gonna say they already kind of did this in Captain America. The first one was seeing how Shield gets formed, but they already kind of teased that one in the first Cap. I was gonna say, what's his give Coulson a movie? Why not?
He has Agents of Shield though. He has that whole TV show to himself. Oh yeah, they also have this new show that I'm interested in. It's called Cleanup Crew. It's featuring people who clean up after all the messes that the superheroes make.
Oh, I gotta see that. Oh, I think I've seen clips of that. Yeah.
It's coming out next year, I think. I think that's when it's coming out. I'm not gonna. Yes, Shocker is an underrated villain. Case Frost. He's very funny. Wasn't Michael Keaton going to be in Homecoming? I didn't hear about Michael Keaton being in Homecoming.
I heard a very weak rumor about that. That's all I'll say.
If he is in Homecoming, like Draven said, that he plays Uncle Ben, so he dies quickly. So he doesn't pay him too much money. Look, we're only making you Uncle Ben, so just know you're going to die in this flashback. I think. Do you think they're going to do that, where it's going to be present day into flashbacks for Spider-Man?
They have. I mean, I think we were talking about this before, where they don't have to tell the origin story. They can just set up like the origin story in a flashback sequence or during like the intro credits or whatever. You know what I mean?
No, but what I mean is like they're gonna have like kind of like how Deadpool played it off, where Deadpool was like it was in the present, but then it would go back into the past. You think they're gonna do that?
I hope not.
I hope not either. Jay Walker asks, do you think Spider-Man 3 should have been a 2-part movie? Yes, we talked about that before. I said that in many Q&As. It was going to be 2 parts. Sam Raimi said it was going to be in 2 parts. Straight Shooter asked, when do you think they'll put Venom in the Spider-Man film? As soon as fucking possible, because they know Venom's money.
Yep.
And the Real Heel asked, thoughts on Gambit movie? I didn't know there was a Gambit movie.
Yeah, I forgot about that. They want to field test with a Gambit movie. So I pretty much the same approach as the Apocalypse movie. I'm very iffy about it. Possibilities are very good, but
is Channing Tatum playing Gambit?
I think so.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I like Channing Tatum. No offense, but that's fine.
It's not him. It's just I'm iffy about it. That's all I'm going to say.
Straight Shooter asked the final question: who do you think will get buried in the Avengers Infinity War? Who's getting buried, Connor? We already said Batista's going to get buried for sure. Drax is done.
I think Hawkeye and Black Widow are going to get buried. So what good are they going to do?
They're not going to be dead. Though. Like, okay, there's 2 different buries when we're talking about Infinity War. You either die, or you're just not going to be featured as much. Definitely agree that Hawkeye and Black Widow will be buried. Who else do you have out there?
Rocket Raccoon.
No, he's going to be featured heavily. Are you kidding me? They love Groot and Rocket Raccoon. We're going to hear I Am Groot the most times.
I think Groot won't get buried. I think Rocket will.
Oh. No, Groot's not getting buried.
But that's just
Groot. Think about that. Vin Diesel got paid like fucking millions just saying those 3 words, or 4 words, or 5 words, whatever you have to say as Groot. Let's see who else would get buried. I think who's the main time? I think Black Panther may get buried a little bit because I don't think they're going to focus way too much on him. Like, he's going to fight and everything, but because
Well, I thought I was going to turn my TV down, but keep going.
Who else is going to get buried? There's a lot of. I think Hulk's going to get buried because he's going to die. I think that's the way you would end part one. Falcon's probably going to get buried. Oh, we already know War Machine's buried. They buried him in this movie because they took away his legs. So yeah, those are all the people that I think are going to get buried. Connor, I just added Falcon and War Machine to the list because Falcon, we think he's going to get buried a little bit, but War Machine's already buried because he has no legs.
Yeah, I was going to say, War Machine, Falcon, yep, definitely think that one.
All right, then. So there you guys have it. That's enough of Captain America Civil War discussion / spoilers. I would like to thank Connor, aka Okayfabe, for joining me on this one. Connor, please plug your material so everyone can go check you out.
Unfortunately, I don't do too much Marvel talk on my main channel. It's usually pro wrestling talk, which you can see. I'll actually be doing a podcast live stream immediately following this one over on my channel. Not too
Iron Man over here. He's a real Iron Man.
Yeah, right. That's why I'm not wearing pants. But if you want to follow me on social media, Twitter at Okayfabe, YouTube.com/Okayfaber, and all sorts of stuff for all pro wrestling related topics. So, but this was fun. I usually don't get a chance to talk in depth about like things outside of wrestling. So when Chase is like, want to do I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to do all, something a little different and a change of pace. So it was my pleasure.
Yeah. So make sure you guys click the links in the description box down below. Normally I join Connor for the post Raw rundown every Monday, but not this Monday because I got other family obligations to attend to. So I'm not watching Raw this Monday. And the reason why I did this was because, it was so fun talking to Connor about Civil War on the Team Meal podcast that I was all like, yeah, fuck it. It's my channel. I can do what I want with it. So let's just talk about it. I know a lot of people ask me questions in the Q&As about the movies in general. And, the Q&As go as long as they do. So I wanted to just get one big giant video so people can watch and hear my thoughts on it overall as a whole and everything like that. So for me personally, this was fun. Everyone asking, I know Real Hill asked why I don't do movie reviews often. I don't know actors or actresses that fucking well. There's only certain movies I like watching or caring about. I don't go out there and try to watch every fucking movie out there. I don't care for movies that much. I only like certain movies and stuff like that. I'm not a big time movie buff or anything like that. I just like the superhero movies that are from the past that are getting remade just to see how they hold up. Just pretty much if actor that I do like is doing a movie like The Rock, I'll go see what The Rock's doing and stuff like that. Like I can't do a review on Central Intelligence. Like I'm not gonna come on here and be like, oh, well, Rock and Kevin Hart cut some crappy jokes and that was the movie, guys. Don't see it. That's not fun for me. There's not really much to break out. It's fun when there's sequels. It's fun when there's movies that have such an expanding universe and that have so many other forms of medium to talk about. Those are the type of stuff. So like X-Men, I'm pretty sure if Connor's free or whatever, we'll do an X-Men Apocalypse type of thing whenever he goes season, and we'll do it. Could come out 2 weeks after the movie, come out the weekend of the movie. We don't know yet, like Justice League and stuff like that. Stuff that interests me, yes, I'll do movie stuff on it, but other stuff than that, mostly pro wrestling. Speaking of pro wrestling and other stuff, Mr. Route and I are going to be doing a video together. So the return of Mr. Route will be on the Chase Oliver channel. That'll be pretty fun. We're going to do that. My boy Alan is back. We're going to talk some MMA for UFC 198, and of course the live Q&A and everything like that. But for wrestling this week, you should go check out the Okayfabe channel and watch a post-Raw rundown and all his other videos that he uploads. Thank you once again, Connor, for joining me and being the awesome trooper. Go to his channel right now to check out the Wrestling Paradise.
Yep, we'll be live in just a few moments. So,
yeah, and I'm going to go kill myself and watch Fantastic Four with my mom on Mother's Day. Gotta take one for the team, guys. Happy Mother's Day to all you people.
Peace out, guys.
Michael B. Jordan, greatest black actor of our generation. Fuck! God.